Vayeishev Yaakov. So it says that Vayeishev Yaakov Bikish Yaakov Leishev B'Shalva. So came along for Yosef. So obviously, you have to be in the union of chinuch. It's a whole lifetime. It's forever. So the cash is this is once a bar mitzvah that I heard this from. It's something about Shiva. I don't know if you ever printed it or not. So he said, so what do you say, Baruch Shepatani? That doesn't make any sense. You don't become potter. First, you never were chayiv in the first place for Ishim, and you don't become potter from the chinuch. So what is the Baruch Shepatani he's saying? He said that the chilik is until bar mitzvah, a child, I guess a girl will be the same thing. That basically she gets trained by the way you be treated. So if your parents treated you in such a way that it affects your life for the rest of your life, for that they're chayav for. If on the other hand they you in such a way something to you after that it affects your life, affects the rest of your life, that's your own fault. That's something that you should have been smart enough to be able to decide that that's not what I want to kabel. This is very negay in our day. I don't know why it's more in our time than let's say before, but there's many therapists that will tell a family, why ever the guy came or the girl came to the therapist to talk to him, or them or female, doesn't make a difference. They talked to him about their problems. All of a sudden it became, you were abused, mentally abused, whatever it was as a kid. Now, they had very good relationship with their parent. Why do you say that they're abused? Lamaisi, you were abused. You just didn't know it. So now you know it, so now all of a sudden you're angry. If you wouldn't have told me, I never would have known I was abused. So why are you telling me? So I'm saying, so this has become that it does have effects, whatever happens to you as a kid, does have an effect later on. There's always a joke was, it's all your mother's fault. You hate your mother from the time you think that, I didn't even know I hate my mother, but I hate my mother. That used to be a joke in my time, but now I hear it's an embassy by a lot of people that we hear it for show them in the family. Now all of a sudden you have discord, this problem. Okay. Anyway, so he used to be in English we'd call Yosef a squealer. He saw something that was wrong by the Shiftei, he would immediately run to his father and tell him all the cases that he mastered were all wrong. He all made a mistake in them. The most notable one is, I think, the one with the Ben Bekua, that he saw the meeting without shchita, so he tried to squeal on them that they don't eat shchita, they eat without shchita, and they were eating a Ben Bekua. So he didn't question, he reported right away with his things. Okay, and yet nobody hated him because of that. That was an interesting thing, with that's Yosef. It's a kid, big deal, And he got him the Senes Pasim. So there was jealousy. I mean, see, Lisa Kaishi, how did Yaakov make such a basic error? Everybody knows that's not a good thing. I don't want to be Geisa Chacham to know that. So how come Yaakov made such a mistake? So the point is that by Yaakov, if it doesn't, all the Chumash is to teach us things. It's not made to tell us stories. So they want to teach us this thing. If it will be by anybody less than Yaakov, you would have thought, that guy didn't know how to handle it, or was this and that. It has to happen by big people, what they could come to make. So therefore, we learn our lessons from them. So going to be trying to bang benabon. They say if every child thinks the other guy was the favorite, he was a bad parent. If every child thinks he was or she was the favorite, that's a good parent. And they're saying, even though how could it be? That I can't answer you how can it be. But that there's an Indian of that someone has more shaykhs with his kids, that's a different story. It has nothing to do with being a favorite. You marshal this by Rav Papa. Rav Papa had 10 kids. We say, by every scene, we say his kids' names. I don't remember after what the Maisa was there, anyway, the star came before Rava, and Rav Papa said it's Mizuyev. And the Rav said, and the Rav says to him, it's very nice, it's good that you said it, but you only need echad, and therefore it's a good star. So Bas Rav Chisda came in and said, it's a Mizuyev to Gishta. He said, now I have to put it away. So someone asked him, he says, is Bas Rav Chisda bigger than Rav Papa? He says, no. The Yikir is a Bas Rav Chisda, I know. Papa, I don't know. Okay, what do you mean you don't know? He's a Talmud Mugad. He goes, what do you mean I don't know? Well, I don't know. And so when Rav Papa, who was the whole story is talking about him, says that if that's the case, then Abba Mori Bari is also Namro like a Beitre. So out of the 10 sons, he only took Abba Mori for this thing. Now, why would he say that about Abba Mori? All my kids are honest kids. I have no question about them. No cheskas kashas. It's a cheskas kashas. It's not a yediyah. I don't know. I don't know how they would react if they're caught in that certain situation. So therefore, I can't say that they're nemen like Beitrei. On the other hand, Abba Mori must be went in business with him, whatever it is there. So they did, and he saw everything there that he was made when he got in trouble. It didn't make a difference to him. He was an honest man. I saw he was honest. So he's nemen like Beitrei. And as I said, that didn't mean he was more favorite than the rest of his children. I had more shaykhs with him than the rest of my children. And that's truly what happened with Yosef. Had more shaykhs with Yankov than the other child. Why? Because Reuven, he was the oldest, right? However older he is than Shimon, 10 months, whatever it is, 7 months. The mice is Reuven only had that much privacy, as you call it, with Yaakov Avinu until Shimon was born. And when Shimon was born, now all of a sudden, Yaakov is taking care of Shimon too, or is taking care of Shimon mainly. We call it, because you're a little big boy, ready to go play. I have to deal with Shimon. Then it came along Levi, and then whatever it is. Then came Yosef. And Binyamin is 8 years later. That means for 8 years, Yaakov was dealing only with Yosef. That's it. So as far as the relationship between father and son, it was different. I personally had such a thing. I'm 8 years younger than my brother, and when I was born, I guess not everybody wanted to play with me. I mean, obviously, that was less than me. So my parents were stuck with me. And so my mother would let me shopping, and I'd be playing around my father's desk. The Rosh Shiur was writing all the time. And I was on the floor playing with my marbles and my soldiers and whatever it is. But I was next to the Rosh Shiur at all times. And when he had to go someplace, he took me with him. And he would talk to me on the way. So the many things he told me that maybe he never spoke to other people because I happened to be around, and and he was forced to talk to me. So there's things that he told me, and the thing is, so this is what happened with Yosef. It doesn't mean anything as far as Hava goes, but it means that for relationship, it definitely makes a difference. Anyway, so we see from this thing, all of a sudden we got a hatred comes out. So the mekanim, okay. Mekanim is one thing, it's called it that they want Vayochel Davar B'Sholem, means there's a difference between a soine and a noyev. A soine is a guy you don't talk to for 3 days, right? That's the Gemara, and he's already for Ari Miklot, already he's possible. You can't go already Ari Miklot. Why? Not because the guy that you don't talk to for 3 days, you're going to kill him already. It means that I don't care really. My tiny is like, let him take care of himself. It's not my achayis anymore. Once you take your achayis off from somebody, I mean, you're going to do things that it could be dangerous to him, and you're not going to be careful because of it. So now you can't go with anymore for this guy. I said, that's good, but I have no real time. So they didn't obviously show him, but I'm sure if he was not well, they'll take good care of him. He's my brother. There's no question about it. We don't talk. Now, whatever it is, we don't have shaykhs with each other. That would have been the case there. An oyev, on the other hand, is someone's back his course, like he wants to hurt you. That's a big difference between a sign. Sign is, what do you call it? Just that he just won't talk to you. Yeah. So then Yosef has a chalom. And it's interesting. I mean, he wasn't stupid. He knew his brothers weren't talking to him. So if he wanted to, what do you call it? So he wants to be a melech over them or something like that. He knows they're not going to tolerate such a thing. So what kind of stupidity is that he's going to go over to them and tell them the story? The truth is, he truly didn't understand the chalom because I'm only the kid. So why am I the one that they're bowing to? The alumma is bowing to my alumma, and why is it not them bowing to me? And if they would have understood, if they wouldn't have been the sinner, they would have also seen the problem. The thing that if we're talking about Malchus, what should be? We're all said that we were all together. It says, right? We were all together in the field together. So therefore, if you want to show Malchus, what should happen? You guys should have been bound to me. But it doesn't say that. It says your aluma is bound to my aluma. So what does that mean? It means it's strange things. There must be something that has to do with food. This thing, wait, the sheikh is food in this world. You understand? And if he would have understood it, that somehow along the time he's going to be what they call the quartermaster. But that's going to be that. So you're not a big deal. I'm not going to call that as a malchus. I'm going to charge him the food business. So good, you're the caterer. I mean, the thing, though, there wouldn't have been any graces and there wouldn't have been any senior. But we're angry at him in the first place. He misinterpreted. That's the thing, though. That's a big thing. And what was the thing that they did? It says, Rashi says, so I said, what was the Vorov? What he used to squeal. In other words, until now they thought he's squealing only because he's a kid. Now they thought the reason that Yaakov gave him the what do you call it? Not because he's trying to drum us out of the business. When he's claiming to Yaakov, we're a bunch of shkotzim, we're a bunch of this, we're a bunch of that. And therefore, who should call Yisrael belong to? Only to him. And therefore, that was the big sin to him. And the truth is, in the Medrash is Mashra such a Ma'aseh. It says that really 12 shvatim should have come from Yosef, right? Except that because the Ma'aseh fell at 10, the Zera went out from whatever it means there. So we only had 2 children, and they both became shvatim. So if you had 12, we would have had 23 shvatim. And Teichet doesn't mean something, and you see that there's an Indian of 12. He had 12 sons. Yishmael had 12 Nesiim. What do you call it? Choron had 12 kids, and stuff like that. So obviously, the 12 has something to do with a malchustic type of. So I don't know what it means. Ablamai said it seems something like that. It's 23 is just numbers. It doesn't have anything. I can't answer. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Now, this is what Shiva once said that this Iyad and the Mesorah is that the Mesorah is sacrosanct. In other words, can't have any machlekes on the Mesorah and so on. So Yaakov tells Yosef, I want you to go check on the Shlem. Achecha, Tzoin. Okay. I mean, So anyway, according to that's what he meant. So this that it says, where was Reuven? He was taking care of that day was his day. I mean, every day somebody else came. So why be saying Yosef? He knew already what everything was taking place. So obviously, I don't know what chat the thing is. So this would obviously somehow not like that. And he sends Yosef to find out what's going on. And Yosef could have told him, Dad, they don't like me. They may do something to me, or even if they don't do anything, they're not going to be careful about me. They're not going to care about me. So maybe I shouldn't go. And he doesn't tell him. He says, why didn't he tell him? So I definitely would have told him. I'll tell you, Schnavish guy, but he so would have told him, don't go. But he says, so it is that Yosef didn't tell him. Why didn't Yosef tell him? Because he didn't want any rifyan between the things, and he's not sure they're going to do anything to him. I mean, it's only a suffix. And what, they're going to kill me? Kill me, they're not going to kill me because it's supposed to be 12 shvatim. So whatever it is, they're not going to kill me. The only thing is I'll be an Evet. I mean, Evet, suffix Evet, but he gives Yaakov Reuven such aggravation, he didn't want to give it. So it was easy to do it. It says, to go and see. So he says, so Rashi says, very strange thing. He says, Chevron is Behor. So therefore, why are you saying it's Me'emek from the valley? He says, all of us from the one that's buried in Chevron was his idea. That's how we know. What was the idea? Where did he get to Yosef and all the things, all of us? Yaakov, Avraham made a deal with the Vayeishev. The Vayeishev told him when he came, this is, I'm giving you the land. By the Brisbane Absorim, it says, Vayem Hashem, no, Vayem Elo, Ani Hashem, Shetzich Meokazim, Lo Seis Lecho, I'm giving you this land. That's to you, Avram. Right? But you're going to have 400 years. You're going to be in Evid. So, or from Eretz Levahem, it's on Eretz Levahem, then Bavodim, then Inos. There's 3 degrees. So he says, so Avram thought, so why should I start it? When if I took the land now, it's going to start whenever they go down 400 years. Let me start from Eretz Levahem, from the day Yitzchak is born. So therefore we cut it down. So you cut it down 190 years. Okay, so therefore it's about Yemahu Kos Hashem and Safon Brisleim over Zarachon. He actually changed the whole thing. That was his idea. So now is the time, though, to go down. That's what he means. Okay, they want to kill him, and Reuven saves him. Now, Reuven saves him for a very strange reason. This goes down, I have in the book, that the whole different thing we hear, and that the latest said, and the Kates, and so on, and the arguments of what did Reuven know in this whole thing. They argue with them, what they were saying, because from in the case, it's mashma. The Reuven actually argued with them and told them the kid's not chayiv misa. And whether they argue with him at that day or they argued it sometime before when they talked about this, these guys are waiting, you should kill him, or whatever it is, wherever they talk. And he always told them, I tell you that I'll techdu bayelad. So he held he wasn't chayiv misa. So he wasn't chayiv misa. So first of all, why you let them even put him in, you think you have to sneak him out. You say you're not capable. So you say you're not capable to take him out. Why? I got Shimon, baby, Yehuda, all against me there. I'm not going to start up with all these guys. I mean, it's 9-1 anyway. I mean, but so what am I going to do? I have to be sneaky about it. The Gemara says not like that. The Gemara says Yoda Reuven, that the Torah is going to write on him that he was going to save the kid, then he would have taken him out and put him on his shoulder and carried him out. So in other words, that's a point of a person to know the cases of a person when he's sure of himself. A person not sure of himself, automatically weakens himself in his own mind. I can't do it. But once I'm sure of myself, I know that I'm right. If I'm right, then I can't let them do another like that. He's going to go on my shoulder. I don't care what they do. They're not going to stop me. So there's a big thing in that thing. But he also knew somehow that this was some kind of an avua, because it says that why was he maketev to Yosef? Because till now, he always didn't know if the benchman forgave him for the chet of the bed. So now that he said, that means that we're all brothers together in the thing. So then the bench was I'm counting now, counting the brother. So if that's the case, he must have counted that as an avua. He knew that Yosef is saying something of an avua. I don't know what the avua means, but it's an avua. Yeah. So to take off the tunte is kshein shaban. Why did they take it off? Because we say the Yirotzim that Birkas Khan, and it says as long as Yosef wore the biggest thing, that everybody loved him. So they knew the first thing we got to do for us to do it is to take off the tiny spasi. But as long as he's wearing it, we can't touch him. So it's interesting, you can have guys to take it off. It's, I don't know how it worked exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting that the Chumash, and if you look at the Rashbam, the Taka says that the Alchem never sold Yosef. Because it says over here, what does it say? He says an Eitzi, Yehuda, Hul, Nimkrenel, Ishmael. Yedain, but that's the Eitzi he gave. Vayavru Anoshim Midyonim, Sheicherim, Vayimshachu Vayalu es Yosef Menaper, Vayimtru es Yosef Yishmaelim. So who sold him? The Midyonim, and then sold him to the Yishmaelim. Not the Bnei Zid. Now it says there that there's a lot of sales here, but the Torah doesn't say that. The Torah says the only ones that took him out of the birth was the Medonim, and they sold him to the Ishmaelim, and that's it. They had nothing to do with it. Now you'll say later on, yeah, but you see that he blames them for it, whatever it is. That could be because it's not for you. It wouldn't happen to me. Therefore, it doesn't mean necessarily. But for the goyim to kill us, they don't need too many aids. Amezrish, this and that. It says you're chayiv, so their soul with your malchus comes from the fact that you sold the bundle. What they gave the thing or whatever the python makes up over this. Obviously, if they kill us, they'll do anything they want.
It could be that's why he said he went up to Shema. He said he wanted to see if it was correct whether or not it was exact. Maybe he had to go find out because maybe he wanted to make the argument against it. He could have stuck up to them.
Good. Yishmael.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now we should have, in a way, understood a lot of things. This Ashkacha Pratis and the things there, and that he saw that he's not normal. In other words, and that's what they say. They were carrying psalmim. Ishmaelim usually didn't carry psalmim. They carried the other kind of stuff. They were the low-level workers, so therefore they carried the junk stuff. So the question is, why Tati were they carrying this? So it's obviously for him that he shouldn't smell the wrong stuff. So you should have seen this. And you came in the Petifa's house, and all of a sudden you're the big cheese over there. And the thing is, and how can you make it toyus and think God's not with you? So the simplest way I think is like Yankev being the one. It says they had machanoim. They came at moving with machanoim, and then he says, "I'm afraid Esau's going to kill me." Just see, the should have said, "What are you afraid this is going to kill you?" Well, with us, there's two things: it's a schar and there's einish. God doesn't forgive. He doesn't what he call. He does not mitzamtzim. He doesn't exchange. In other words, if you get 1,000 mitzvahs for one avela, you're going to get schar for 1,000 mitzvahs, and you're going to get punished for one avela. You're going to get punished. That avela. Some have to say, "Oh, you're a great guy, 1,000 mitzvahs." Forget about it. Benjamin's not about one. Not going to forgive anything. Maybe it's also maybe like you get whatever the cheshbon was. I mean, I don't know what the cheshbon was, but whatever it was, you could think maybe such a thing. Anyway, he comes. Okay. Okay, and then they all blamed what do you call Yehuda for this thing, even though she would have been killed. I think they would have been more upset. But at least, the fact is, you saved him, so you should have said no. It's a little bit, I guess, but everybody's looking for an excuse, not me. You're going to blame anything on the next guy. It doesn't make a difference. But what do you blame? You would have killed him. So let's start up and save him. Okay. So anyway, he gets married, whatever it is there, and he has 3 kids. And chatoim are different chatoim. I'm not going to go into it. Could be in that also in the Jesus. What happened? He says, El married Tomer, so he was Mashlazera because he didn't want her to get pregnant because he wanted to abuse the beauty. Einan didn't do it because he didn't want El to have any whatever it could do. Obviously, sibling rivalry, and he didn't want him to be. What you heard this cheshbon that he doesn't let Shayla and do it because maybe he thought Einan also didn't do it because of like the soul of El. And if that's the case, then Shayla will also maybe fall in. Yehuda would have known that not everybody gets with the beauty. It's just a different cheshbon. Maybe he would have married off the Shayla. I don't know. But his excuse was she was a kid. Okay, so his son ships her out, and they can't. Now the Gemara says a strange thing that she was misfollow, that he should not be able to control his tithing, whatever you want to call it, tithing, or he should just give in to whatever it's going to be over there, and that's what happened. Obviously she wanted to have a child from him, and I guess she was going with the halacha that's called Yidden, whatever it is there, and she knew that halacha, and so therefore maybe she wanted to entice him at least. Very cool. And he was murdered. This comes out to whatever she did there, and which I can't understand. Also the Reuven to the mice of the what did he give? Want to give? He's going to give her. I'm going to give her Gediz. What's Gediz in cost? We picked up a Gediz in many years ago for 50 cents. Yeah, Vayeishev 1951. Okay, 1951. We bought a Gediz for 50 cents. Okay.
What?
As a pet.
Yeah.
Where was this? Where? On the east side, right?
No, this was in the country, in Sackett Lake. Okay, yeah, so we had this goat, and it was very interesting. It was a day old when he bought it. You were able to see the Gemara that it grows a new tooth for the first 8 days, every day a new tooth. You were able to see it. You were able to think, well, which was thing there. Then the kid, it's a kid, right? A kid would jump on the floor, it would jump sideways. It goes onto the couch, and went sideways over the couch, and then into the chair, went over the back of the couch, not the front of the couch. But I'm saying it was a very interesting thing. But well, I guess it's more kosher a pet than a dog. And he's always going to a pet. Okay, he's really cute. Anyway, so it doesn't cost too much, right? And what he asks, so it says, so but you got to give me an Reuven, right? Ready. So what am I wearing? I want chesomcha, psilacha, umatcha shebiyadach. That thing costs more money than the gedi cost. I don't understand. Chesomcha is like your ring or whatever it is there. So I don't understand. Like the Reuven was with. He trusted her. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna tell you.
Well, those things identify.
Huh?
Those things.
I know that's why she did it.
Yeah,
I know,
that's why
understand, right? Why do you even give it to her? It doesn't make sense. Okay. Anyway, can't find her. And you find out that she's pregnant, and she was pregnant in 7 months. I mean, and 2 months it was approximately, a little more than 2 months. And the Shilas, it seems in that time it was quite common. How many halachas we have? The Chumash Shiur Rishon, Tisha Rishon and Shiur Rishon. Every woman that gets a get, why? It's so uncommon. You say, "Oh, we have 7-month babies." No, we don't. We have preemies. We don't have 7-month babies. So in my mind, I have one. I only know of one that I think is one. That's no higher it's one. But that I think is one is I only know of one case. It could be of who knows what. I never heard of a 7-month baby. Really, gesunde Feld, well, okay. But that time for sure it was possible, and they give very what do you call it, and he is made. You heard it. It's mine. Okay. When he was made, Reuven was made. That's the reason that the Parshas that you heard the bracha of Yehuda is next to bracha of Levi. Skip Levi in the middle. Shimon didn't get a bracha. It should have been Reuven Levi Yehuda. And then they put Levi after Yehuda because he's gone. What does a private thing have to do with Klal Yisrael? They're talking about the brachas for Klal Yisrael. Brachas for Klal Yisrael has nothing to do with two individuals who happen to be the Shvatim, but there's still two individuals that happened a long time ago. A story they didn't. No, the whole Indian is the Messiah. That was what the thing was. Reuven wasn't made because if he was made for two reasons. One reason that his father then he wasn't made because of a lot of people that would agree with him. In other words, someone insulted your mother, so terrible zach. So you stood up for your mother. You have all the women lips for sure. I mean, in the same doctrine. So being mighty is not going to help me too much. It's not going to show again. And even if you'll say that, oh, you see, I changed my mind, so they'll say, yeah, you become a fat cat. You all of a sudden, once before you were liberal, you understood, you were free for everybody, and now all of a sudden you're like a man. What do you call it?
Who was he made to?
To who had one to kill. So he told them to go take it.
Who was Reuven made to?
Oh, to the Hallel, whoever was there. In other words, whoever Yehuda was made to, he said got up right after that. How did he get to be at that place? Don't ask me. I can't answer that. Doesn't say.
But a chet he did be chidus. I don't know about it.
No, so I'm saying it's not the idea. It's not mechidus. What he was trying to say was, I trigged on Yankiv Avinu, and Yankiv Avinu was the Godladar, he was the Messiah, and therefore I triggered on him. And if I trigger on him, that means we can't trust him for the Messiah. Because if the younger guy can say he's wrong, so then what are you giving me over? Nothing to give over. So therefore, So he's minded. So what did it help him minded now? Meaning, you guys think that what he did is a big avera. No, you this on a shift they cook. You know, they don't know that she prayed and the Vayeishev did it for her. As far as he knows, he went and picked up some chicks on the corner and he was willing to be mizana with it. Like that's for pas for Yehuda. I mean, so therefore, then he admitted it and said that, put himself into the Messiah, that you should know Ataka did it, whatever it is, whatever the shame is. I can't give you any excuses because no one can believe me anyway. So whatever it is, this even on that, Reuven was able to say, you see, that Aveda you guys think is an Aveda. What I did is a lot worse. Okay. I think I'm going to say it. Now the question is, what were you trying to say? What do you think I'm going to say? So my definition, I think I mentioned last time also, that really Yaakov with Kesher was, why did Yaakov do such a thing? I mean, you got to realize, you got guys, Leah's got 6 sons, they're not going to tolerate something, or they may have one nut over there that's going to do something wrong. I mean, why are you looking for trouble? Why are you doing such a thing? Elavos, Yaakov's cheshbon was very simple. I don't have any number 2 wives. You only have number 1 wives. One was Rachel, one is Leah. Rachel may be more personal to me as a wife, but for Klal Yisrael, Leah is the equal wife. She gave over 6 shvatim. She has the Kuhuna, she has Malchus, she has everything. So what am I gonna? I don't argue with her with the things. She's number 1, and she's buried with me in Mos Machpelah. And what would have happened if Rachel would not have the whole thing over there? She also would have been burning Mos Machpelah. We've been with 2 wives, and the others are not my wives. And even later on, I should have maybe do become wives. But at least at that time, definitely weren't wives. So therefore, if I put it into Leah's 10, what will happen? People will say, oh, she was number 2 wife. Until now, Rachel will say, now she Leah's there. I'm not going to insult, I can't insult her. I'm going to put it in a shifter's tent. And nobody's going to have a Havamina against that. So how come Reuven misinterpreted? I mean, if Yaakov was so sure of his cheshbon, so how do you? Because Reuven was there by the Dudoyim when they were arguing there. What Leah said to Rachel, you stole my husband. Now you think this, so now you're number 2 type in his mind. And now he's touching up everything that is number 2. So because of that, he had this Havamina with him. But normally, if he would have thought about it, which he did 5 minutes later, and he realized he was wrong, but he did it already. He was a Tachas Kamayim. That was it. So he had this cheshbon, and boom, I go and I do it. I act right away. Think it over again. A lot of things. Even in the Torah, in Psak, you're supposed to. Then one, you have to sleep over on the Psak. Because you want to see if tomorrow you're going to agree with the same thing. I mean, the fact that I said it today doesn't mean I'm going to agree with it tomorrow.
He was also the only one by Shimon's bris, so he knew that she felt she was a stealer.
Right. It's also could be. Yeah, he's on the ribbon, right? Yeah. Now, another thing that we see from here, that there was no such thing as a b'chor ha'im at this time, because what happened? She's giving birth to our first children. She didn't want any children till this. Toma, she's getting twins, and the what do you call it? The nurse, Mamyaledis, Batik Shal Yodoish, and Labor Zayot Soishana. When she says Yebecha, that's the Russian you normally should use. No, there's no Dim Becheva in that's why it says by the Chorheim, and Gashti Ko Becha Belt Mitzrayim, whatever, but Chorhov, that was already by Vayeishev, we see it before. Chorheim did not exist until Mitzrayim. So this is what we see from here. All right, comes down to Mitzrayim. He's by by Pedifera. Now, this is something that it's a cute thing to think about. I don't know, I see it now myself. I mean, I'm an almond, so I have Hashem, very beautiful children. And everyone has another night to feed me. And thing out there. And they all come and really it's wonderful. But I have no choices, you understand? Let's say I'm not complaining. I have a daughter listening to this, so I wanted to know I'm not complaining. Okay. But I was always the thing about Potiphar was Potiphar feel he was a rich man. It says over there, he gave over to Vayeishev, and what did he know? He's a billionaire. He has empires. He has all his real estate and whatever he has there, and he doesn't know anything about anything of his businesses and how they're making money and what they're not making money. And all he knows is what they feed him. Very nice. Whether you feel like a balabas or not. I mean, I sit down with my papers. I say, I own this, I own this, I own this. I don't know anything about what I own. Right? So how do you feel? You feel like you're a rich guy or not? And so then sit to the bottom. Then I don't know if I feel rich. Anyway, whatever cheshbon she had, now the thing, because if Osnas is not really her daughter, so his brain is a little whatever it is. Anyway, she blames him for wanting to, what do you call it, the proposition her, and they toss him into jail. Okay. And there also, he is the big check. So again, you can't miss this type of stuff that God's taking care of you. What do you need to do anything about it? So this could be the main taina that was on Yosef, why he spoke to the Samashkim that what do you call it? They stole me from here and want to go to Ganafti and all that. Why do you go? God will take me out. When times comes, he'll take me out. Why are you doing? Elavos, he holds you need to do some kind of mishtadlus. Now, would I have a way now of being mishtadl? I have a way now of being mishtadl, like I be mishtadl. That's the thing that we would think about. All right, so then why did he goof? If that was what he has to do, so why did he goof? So I think he goes for the simple reason that he says too much. That he says, he really says, Chatani yitchok hasheyitav lechoch, vasis modi chosiv is Chatani opav itzim nabayis hazeh. That would have been sufficient. That would have been hishtadlus. Now to get you to be sympathetic to me, kigunav ganafti and stuff, that's really irrelevant to the fellow favorite yes. This is negeya to all the dinim, to a lot of halachas. But now the Rambam brings down that then one of the 25 things, 24 things that he holds that you can't do tshuva for, or it's hard to do tshuva for. One of them is you're eating from a bailim shein that's not mistopic for him. I was a kid, it was yeshiva. We didn't get a package that often. We got a package, let's say, let's say 50 cookies. I'm just giving a mushal. I don't remember how much every 70 cookies or not. But just a mushal if I would have gotten 50 cookies. And every one of my friends come over to me and say, can I have a cookie? In the end, how much did I have for myself? 1, 2, that's it. Okay. That wasn't none at all for my mother. That's a goslin. Those guys, what do you mean goslin? I gave it to you. What's an atay? You asked me for it. I gave it to you. You're not allowed to ask me. Once you ask me, you put me into such a position where I can't say no. That's what it. So you know what it's like. I hold to the year too. Maybe it's my own excuse. I can't answer. So that was the time I've been with Reuven. That what that is you see in their argument with or in Bakosha from Moshe Rabbeinu, they took samaks that don't belong. It's one speech, so one speech would be one parsha. Why it's split in two parts? The first parsha I say is what they should have said. What they say, this land is good for sheep. We got sheep. Okay, good. That's first day. But they say, oh, please give us this land so we can have. That is unnecessary. That's begging me. Once you're begging me, I can't do it anymore. Same thing goes with Vayeishev. Then you begging me 5:15. That's okay. Then I don't have time to sign you for asking me for that. You want to ask me one more time? I'm going to give it to you. It's like that's what they say. You know, with the best one. Of course, you would have given them, but not because you pray it. Not because you was asking to feel it. It's because I can't say no. So once you ask me and I can't say no, that automatically makes it that you took it, not that I gave it to you. So this any case like that you'll have like that. So I have that kind of say it's my excuse, but I'm willing to take money when anyone things like that. They call a Korov, or somebody that you're friends with, and asking for money. Now, that's a very hard thing to do. Why? And maybe you're not even allowed to do it because the fact that I called him, he can't turn me down. Now, if he was a guy that doesn't give stock here, all right, so you can be Tavea on stock years also. I have a right to money you didn't give enough stock here. I'm asking you for stock here. That I can do. But what happens if the guy gives enough stock here? The thing is a big bounce back stock. He doesn't give me. The thing, and I want that you give me too. And I'm going to make the phone call. That could be tough. And the thing there, because he has no choice but to give me the phone. It's not that I'm saying. It's not. I said I know that. That's why I'm saying it's a thing. But it's but on one hand, it could be. I mean, I say I don't know. The reason.
The big person and
oh, that's a the point of the subject of Shiva had a psak like that. Where you have a Maisa like this, you're not allowed to tell anyone that gives you stock it, to another Rani. Why? Because otherwise they can come on the guy and but he says what happened, there was a Maisa, a guy wanted to print this, I think the Chuba in the safe in the store. It was like this. The guy wanted to print the safer. At that time, it was $500 in the safer. So anyway, he wanted to print the safer, and he didn't know who to go to. He had no money. So his friend told him, go to this guy. He'll give you money. He likes to give money for stuff. Okay. So he went to the guy. The guy asked and says, sure. Takes out his check, writes the check. And then he didn't give it to him yet. He says, I'm not going to give it to you until you tell me who told you about me. So he didn't know what to do. He left the guy, obviously, and he went away and came to a shiva. And it's a shiva, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to tell him, obviously I want the money, but I'm supposed to tell the guy, I'm not supposed to tell him. He says, obviously he's a big enough man, and you're asking for a lot of money. If he didn't give enough yet, so you're allowed to be purveying. So you're allowed to ask him, you don't have to tell anybody. If he didn't give enough, if he gave already enough, it's a big amount of money to say, I'll put you on next year's list. This year I gave my money. So I gave my friend the shit. I haven't got any more in the big monies. I'll give you next, and I'll give you next year. I don't say that. You didn't give enough yet this year, so therefore you don't have to tell him, and he owes you the money. Okay, so where's the Gemara say you're not allowed to tell them? Small money. It says like go in a shoe and you'll see it. Guy gives a guy, the guys come around, so give him a buck. Okay, they just take your buck and go weiter, right? And they have a lot of them come here to deal with it. Give them $5. all of them come on. Right? Why? Because they $5, and all of a sudden, $5 maybe give me a check. The thing up in there. So $5, I'm not, if I'm an usher, or I'm pretending now to be an usher, I just became an oni, right? I can't say no to $5. $500, I can say no because come next year. But $5, big deal. I'm only asking you for $5, but 100 people asking for $5, $500. That's a small money. You're not allowed to tell anybody. Big money you can tell.
The person can say, "I'm
That's
getting into
impossible.
the big money right? You have nothing left for you. There's no problem."
That's what I'm saying. I gave away all my big money.
Do some time.
Huh?
Do some time.
You have to ask for big money.
So the idea is when you ask someone big money, the shot is that you're not asking him in a way that you can't say no.
Yeah, right. That's the same
That's
thing.
small money, you can't say no, it's not fair.
Right. It's all the same. That's why even for what do you call, you don't bring the kukum from the Vayeishev. The Rishalmi, it's a shadow of the Rishalmi. Shalmi says you don't bring the kukum from Vayeishev. So it says if you don't bring, because it says that whatever it says there, you gave it, so Reuven and God didn't give it, they took it. Right, so the Achad Shef Menashe has to give. Because if it's not that was of his whole device, so even if don't give you. So you see that they consider it to so vital that God didn't give it because you demanded in such a way that I can't say no. So once you make a person that I can't say no, so then you're taking it. It's not going to do any good. Anything that makes you can't say no. So, that's what my excuse was. I don't know, and that's why for not asking people. That's my excuse. So Mashmed, though, I don't know how he would have done it, but when he says, I did you a favor by touching up your thing this way, that means that I could have touched up the other way. I don't know how he could have done it, but I mean, this makes a lot of sense if we hear his piss line. But, could have made the piss line that the Sa'am Oifim would be the one that's going to be saved. You're the one that's dead. Now it's because everything goes after the piss line. That's what the Gemara says. So therefore, once he knew that everything goes after the piss line, so therefore it was up to me. I could have done whatever I wanted. And I did it you a favor by giving you your life. So then, don't do me a favor. But of course, if you relied on him, then the Vayeishev that the next 2 years for that. And because you shouldn't have gone and asked this, the complaints against I don't know, it was complaint against the Shiftika, or it said, because it doesn't say who actually did this to him, but okay. What else we got here? I think it's about 7 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering whether it's 2 years because Ganafi, the double Russian of Ganafi, is that possible? It's 2 years. Why 2 years?
Yeah, why 2 years?
The truth is, everybody in jail is innocent. So the Gampolo says he wasn't adding anything by saying that, because everybody in jail says I didn't do anything.
Right.
So that wasn't, maybe it wasn't being month in that part of the speech, because everybody, ask anybody in jail, they're all innocent.
Lord Yosef saying the Eibishter is running everything, so he shouldn't be doing any hishtadlus, or
No, I'm saying should he be startless? He should have said the first thing. I didn't do anything. I mean, I did you a favor. Do me a favor back. I don't have to look for sympathy. I mean, I'm complaining I did you a favor. That's all he said.
contesting his innocence was the,
Right.
the
So
true
you're trying to make me what equal. So therefore, you think it can't. So therefore, that you have to do more. Not just supposed to do only ishtadlus. Yeah, it's a very. We'll talk about maybe tomorrow. A little bit. I don't know if we're going to this point of Ishtadlus. I'm just trying to think if we're going to this point of Ishtadlus. I know this much about Ishtadlus, about Big Doctor. The Shiva was sick. So he didn't look, first of all, we traveled from my brother-in-law and the doctor he told him to go to, so they get killed, So it's not even here. Was the Tyler's why not bring in the they wanted to bring the Bakey from Texas. I think the Bakey wasn't I remember often they used to come in. And he said no. He said it's what do you call it? All you need it. The Vayeishev is the right thing. No, there's no other right thing except the Vayeishev. I only shluchim. So yeah, but I have to do a shtadlus. I got to go to a mumche. Once I got a mumche, I don't go to any more than that. He said, and I think though, where they say you have to go, let's say you got to go to chop. Now you got to go to chop. And certain things that happen to a kid, they were not equipped to handle this. Now they all of a sudden you go to Cleveland, whatever it is there. So that's over. They go to Boston for certain things. So we know that there's mekaymis that's called doing the shtabis. But when the normal guy, this doctor, is all the same doctors. For the ones they saved, they are what do you call malachim. For the ones that got killed, they're butchers. It doesn't make a difference. Then every one of them had this and had this. There was an actual instance with the Rosh Yeshivas. That's how that was the mice there that he put the pacemaker. So when he got taken to the hospital, so we went into someone that was an Elachiyid. So he told me, he said, you need a pacemaker, but stay in this hospital because now you're checked. What do you call it? The thing attached to you. You're under whatever you're under. What do you call it? And the Ikea guy, the guy who did about 10,000 of these things, is out there on vacation at the moment. We'll be back next week. Meanwhile, there was a Yid that was under the guy, and he did only a few hundred. So the doctor recommended. Okay. Anyway, in the end, they had to redo it. And Rashiv was very upset. Number one, he says, "What is Kunta 2 times? Every time is a chayiv misa. They're cutting you, so there's a vention and everything. That's chayiv misa. They cut me. So why 2 times? One time he's trying to figure out this chatoim. It's interesting. He's going to say maybe when he was a kid, he once with the Rebbe liked his pshat better than his friends. So he was proud about it to himself. So maybe that's felt like the other kid got embarrassed, and maybe it's, so it's like a thing from Chavere, the Chayiv Misa for that. Okay, so one time I'm Chayiv Misa. But why the second time? Okay, so that's a pretty good thing. And that was only when he was a kid. So the Rebbe told him, he says, maybe it's because we waited for the guy. Said, like this, we waited for the guy, and if it would have been good, everyone will say, Reuven Feinstein waited for the guy. The guy, you have to wait for the guy. He's the big mumche. That's not the truth. He's in England. So therefore, he had to show you that he made what he moved from there. So he says he liked the answer. How about the answer? Right.
They're both called mumchas. Both those doctors were equally mumchas. Those doctors?
Yeah, the same thing. It's a different thing. The body looking for a better moil. What's called a better moil? The guy did 15 meals and the guy did 500 meals. Is any less thing? They all practiced 10,000 other kids. They weren't Jews, but they did 10,000 other blessings. So they're both mumchim. But he's young. He's only a male for 58 years. I can get one for 65 years. Something like that. No, it's guy. But that's unfortunately the way we were. Fine. I've gotten Shabbos, everybody, and I said we'll let you know about next week. I've gotten Shabbos.
Shabbos.